What's up, pals? Welcome to the Your Random Pal channel. And did you know that Dodge made an adult toy line? Wait, what?
Oh yeah!
Wait, what? Adult toy line? Not your first thought. It's a little bit family friendly. They made a line of exciting trucks starting in the mid 70s. The trucks were the Warlock, and they also made a Warlock 2, the Dodge Little Red Express, the Dodge Midnight Express, and the Dodge Macho Power Wagon. These were all based on the D series pickup truck that Dodge made. Now on today's episode, I'm going to take you along with me as I check out this cool gathering I just found out. It's in town local, Louisville, Kentucky, at the Marriott, of Little Red Express trucks. This is the 6th annual gathering for the Nalreto Association. Nalreto, it's a mouthful. Let me break it all down for you. It's the National Association of Little Red Express Truck Owners. Yes, quite the mouthful. So I'm gonna go there, and I've got my own Little Red Express truck here. This is my Datsun DMD21. It's a 1985 model, and I'm gonna see if they won't mind me sliding in there with my own D series truck, and we'll check out all these cool rides and get the lowdown on everything there is to know about the Dodge Little Red Express. Let me hop in my truck and you can tag along. Hey, I'm here with my little red truck.
Oh, here are you?
Y'all gonna let me in? All right, so I made it in, and look, I parked with all the little Dodge Little Red Express trucks. How cool is that? I snuck in. And right here we have the Dodge Little Red Express.
That stuff really is. It's a miracle.
Even the tow vehicle, the tow truck, is a Dodge Little Red Express out here. With a custom cooler. All right, so now I'm going to interview the man that's over this whole madness of truck craze here. All right, so I'm standing here with the president of all this madness, the Little Red Express President Club. What's your name?
John Roberts.
Okay, John Roberts, and tell us about how this all got created.
Well, the actual Nalreto, the National Association of Little Red Express Trucks, got started. We started in 2019 was our first show. This is our 6th show. We move around the country every year. We go to different places. Been to Branson, Missouri last year, Alexander City, Alabama the year before, up in Pennsylvania the year before that, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. We've been all around. So this year we're in Louisville, and probably the biggest show we've had so far.
Thank you for coming to Louisville, by the way, my hometown.
We love it. We absolutely love it. Couldn't ask for better weather either. It's just perfect. But they only built these trucks 2 years, 78 and 79. It's kind of easy to tell. If you look, the 78's got 2 headlights and the 79's got 4. That's one quick way to tell the difference between the two. But we have all sorts of judging, from concourse class, top line trucks, down to the modifieds with the big diesel engines and 440s. A lot of different trucks here, but they're all Little Red Expresses.
Now, I know they're all painted red, but interior-wise, they come in different colors?
Black or red.
Black or red?
Yeah, most of red was the standard interior. You paid extra to get the black. And most of them you'll see are black for the most part. Everybody, I think, liked the contrast rather than having all red inside and outside. Got a little too much, but a lot of them are black interior trucks.
Now, from my understanding, in '78 they had a loophole where they'd have to put the catalytic converters on the trucks. How did they get around that?
Well, the government had a thing that said anything that was GVW, gross vehicle weight, was over 6,000, was exempt from unleaded gas and catalytic converters. So the D100, which was your standard half-ton, was under 6,000. So to do the Little Red, where they could put the high-performance engine and all in and get out of the restrictions, they raised it to a D150, like a heavy half, and raised the gross weight to 6,100, so the government couldn't do anything about it. Well, the federal government, pretty smart, well, I shouldn't say that, but they got on to us real quick, and in 79, they raised it to 6,500. So catalytic converters, all the smog stuff, you know, unleaded fuel was all on the 79s. It really didn't affect it. What they did as far as putting the pollution things on the vehicles was really more to please the government than anything else, and about half of it never even worked. It was on there to look right and make the government happy. Horsepower wise, all that, there's really no difference between the trucks. These trucks have the high performance 360 police engine in it. They took that engine and then modified it with a different camshaft. In 1978 and 79, this was the fastest production vehicle from 0 to 100 mile an hour.
Pretty cool.
Now after 100, Corvettes and stuff, Corvette only had 185 horsepower, I think it was, in 78 and 79, where these were 225. But after a certain speed, you're pushing this big blob down the road, over 100 mile an hour, the Corvette would actually outrun.
Yeah, the aerodynamics.
Yeah, the aerodynamics caught it about 100 mile an hour. So
what about the gearing on these?
These were all the 3-speed 727 torque flight transmissions. The only thing it came in them. And believe it or not, actually, for drag racing purposes, the automatic is faster than the 4-speed or 5-speed, because there's no lack in shifting. It's just boom, boom, boom. And they put the control valve on the transmission out of a 440 engine transmission.
Okay.
So it shifted harder and faster, higher RPM and faster. They were pretty much a production race car is what they were.
And what about as far as rear end gearing on these?
Every one of them had a 355 gear. Now you could get some, a lot of people want to call it posies, but that's General Motors. In Dodge, they called it sure grip rear end, where both rear wheels pulled. Standard rear end was just a single, what we call it, one-legger, just one tire pulls, but every one of them was a 355 gear ratio rear end in it. It's good on street and it's good for racing both. It's kind of right
street and strip.
Yeah, it's right in the middle.
As far as options, what kind of options did people have to choose from?
Not really. They were force-fed a lot of options. In other words, on a regular Dodge truck, there was a radio. You could get AM, FM stereo, 8-track, or CB. On a Little Red, you had to get the AM/FM multiplex stereo. You could upgrade to one of the other two, but you couldn't go down. There was none with an AM radio. They force-fed people to take certain options with it. There was only a few extra options, like air conditioning was an option, the bucket seats was an option, the sliding rear window, sunroof was even available. But that was about it. There wasn't, I mean, maybe, I'm going to say if you went to everything, maybe 10 options that you could put on the trucks. Now that was in 79 only. 78, they brought them out in March, right at mid-year, mid-production, and the dealer couldn't order one. All the dealer could do was put in a request that he wanted a Little Red Express. He didn't know what he was going to get. Black interior, red interior, whatever they decided to send. Because it was just a short production. They only built 2,188 of them in 78. Well, in 79, they went full production. They built 5,118, and you could actually go to your Dodge dealer, sit down, and order a truck the way you wanted, with what little bit of options you could put on it. Some of them out here's got about everything you can get on them, but most of them were just regular trucks. They weren't really collectibles when they built them. They were just another Dodge truck. Now, tables have turned, and prices in the last year, prices have went up probably 20-30% at least. It's good for the people that own them. It's bad for the people that own them and want to need parts, because the parts went right up along with the trucks.
And now another truck in Dodge's lineup was the Warlock, which is also very popular, and they came with different engines, like a 440, right?
A Warlock, and this is a problem that we've had for years. A Warlock is not a model of a truck. It's an option package, a trim package that you could put on it with pinstripes and wheels and all this. wood racks on the bed, but you can't identify a Warlock by the VIN number, because you could get it with any engine from a slant 6 to a 440. You could get any transmission, 3-speed, 4-speed, whatever. You get the automatic. As long as it was a short bed, U-line, which is a step side bed truck, any color, they painted them. It was just like, it was like checking the air conditioning box. You check the Warlock box. Little Reds is a model of a truck. You can look at the VIN number on that truck, and if there's an S in the 5th digit, it's a Little Red Express. No matter what's been done to the outside, you can tell it.
And what about the Power Macho wagon?
All those were just trim packages added to a regular truck. People talk about Warlocks, you know, like they're Little Red Express and Warlock. You can't prove, unless you got a sticker underneath the hood, which most of them fell off, you can't tell for sure it really came. Somebody could just went to the parts department and ordered all the stripe kit and the wheels to make it their own truck a Warlock. Couldn't do that with Little Red, because the VIN number had to match.
What about build sheet?
Build sheet would be on there, but that's like the holy grail.
Okay.
If you've got the build sheet on your truck, you've really got something. They're disappeared.
I know with Pontiac they were good about keeping historical records,
Yeah,
but about Dodge?
Dodge was horrible about keeping records. Like, how many trucks came with air conditioning? They have no idea. They threw every record they had away on trucks. Nobody figured a truck was ever going to be a collectible item. You know, it was just something to work with. Records are terribly hard to find. We do know the exact number that they built for both years, but as far as how many came with this, how many came with that, no way to tell. Absolutely no way. And believe me, I've tried.
Yeah. One thing I find kind of interesting, you said this is the fastest production vehicle at the time, the car and truck, and
right.
But the other trucks that came with like the 440s, but this is a 360 and it's faster.
Yeah, it actually was, because people forget that the 440 weighs a lot more than the 360. Now it gives you more horsepower and definitely more torque, because it's heavy, but it adds weight to it. And anybody that races a car or drag races one, the less weight you can get, the faster you can go. And that's where the Little Red got them, because off the line it can get out and go. It don't have that boat anchor hanging on the front. We've got one here that's been converted to a 440, and it's ungodly fast, you know. And another reason they didn't do it is because 78 was the last year they were going to produce the 440 engine. And they knew they was going to make 79 trucks. So what they did, they took the 360, which they knew was going to continue. It continued on till today. Even it's called a 5.9 now, but the 360 continued on, and that's the main reason they didn't do it, because a 440 truck, I suppose from 0 to 100, might get this one at that type of speed. But off the line, Little Red will still get it because it weighs less.
Assume somebody's done a Hemi swap.
Oh yeah, there's been Hemis. There's the 426 Hemi I've seen in it, the old 331 Hemis back in the 50s. I've seen those in it. We've got 2 in the club with the 12-valve Cummins diesel in them. One of them's here. Now that's something to see and hear. I mean, when you hear a Cummins diesel in a Little Red, it makes you wonder. But those trucks fall into what we call a modified class. We've got the concourse class, which is most of these here. They're been restored, or these are concourse, but these are survivors. They got rock chips and things on them. You know, they have 60, 70,000 miles, but they're still all original trucks. Now the restored ones, they're almost too perfect. Those trucks are much nicer than Dodge ever built them. You know, so it's there are quite a few different ones here.
Well, I appreciate you telling me everything about this.
Well, thank you so much for the interview.
Tell everybody how they can find out about the next year's show.
Okay, right, next year we're going to be in Strongsville, Ohio. June, I think it's the 5th, 6th, and 7th next year. It's about 20 miles southwest of Cleveland. So we'll be up there next June. Don't know for sure where we're going the year after that. We usually try to let people know this year where we're going to be next year, so they can kind of make their plans. But we move it. The main reason of us moving around, it gives people an opportunity, like that live near Louisville, to be able to come to a national show at least once. You know, they can't drive to Branson, Missouri, or to Alabama, you know, or wherever. So we try to move it around so everybody gets a little chance to come. And it seems to be working pretty well.
Any future plans for a West Coast side show?
Farthest west we've been is Branson, and the biggest problem we run into there, obviously, probably 75% of the trucks built are east of the Mississippi River.
Okay.
Because they're built in Detroit and Windsor. The 78s were built in Windsor, Canada, 79s built in Detroit. Obviously, they stayed more on the East Coast. We've got trucks. We got one here right now from California, Fresno, California. He drove 2,300 miles one way to come to the show. But when you get that far west, last year we had one from Utah, one from Colorado. So they still do bring them, even though they're a long ways off. But it's hard. I would say we're averaging between 35 and 40 trucks at a show. If we had one in California, we'd probably lucky to get 15 trucks.
Yeah.
Because there's just not that many out west. It's not that we don't like the people in the west, but it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Plus, all 5 of the board members live east of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
One of them's in Canada. We got a ton of them up in Canada. So that's the reason we're going to Strongsville next year. We're just south of the Canadian border, so we're hoping to suck some of those Canadian little reds back into the United States.
All right, thank you.
All righty, well, appreciate it. Thank you much.
And right here is the place to be if you want Little Red Express apparel. They got this whole table laid out. What all you got here? You got shirts, you got patches.
We got t-shirts, polos, tanks, shirts, rompers, bibs. And then we got dash plaques and patches. We got t-shirts for $5, lanyards, and this year's t-shirts for $25.
Well, pals, I hope you enjoyed today's little side trip to this niche little truck show featuring the Dodge Little Red Express. Hey, if you did, give me a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe. Maybe I'll see some more cool little niche shows that you'll want to check out. But the time has come for me to go put out some fires in my fire truck. Fire Marshal Bill, he's calling me right now, so I gotta go. But until next time, don't worry, be random.
And if you never ran to miss another random car video,
remember, ring that bell. Ring that bell.